All right, y'all. I'm sure that you've already heard the news that Adrien the Problem Broner will be having more problems going to the Ashley Theope fight. At today's weigh-in, he missed weight by almost half a pound. He came in at 140.4 pounds. So, due to that nature, Broner has been stripped of his WBA Super 140-pound title. And let me repeat: due to missing weight, he has been stripped of the 140-pound WBA Super light welterweight title, which means now that the title will only be up for grabs for Ashley Theope. Now, if Ashley Theope can win this fight, he becomes champion. If Broner wins, he doesn't become champion, so the title will be left vacant, and the other, based off the ranking systems and whatnot, the other following top two contenders of the WBA will be fighting for that title. I'm not sure who they are. I'll have to take a look at the rankings. I'm sure Jose Benavidez is one of them, so I'll have to look at it again. It's more like it's going to be him against some other fighter, but I'll get into that later. Other, but the most important thing about this is that the Broner has missed weight. Now, when the announcement was made about his weight, you could tell the disgust on. You should see it behind Broner was his trainer and his coach Mike Stafford. Stafford had the look of disgust and disappointment at the same time. And Broner, on the other hand, he a couple of things struck stood out for me on here that really caught my interest about this. One, he had the look of no desire and no, didn't really care. I'm not saying he doesn't care about the fight. It's just like he doesn't really have the desire at all going, of winning this fight. And two, he didn't look defined and ripped like he usually is coming into weigh-ins. In other words, I'm not saying he's not in shape, but he still looks in decent shape. But he didn't look too defined because mostly when he's in typically when he's in training he's completely ripped. But in this situation he isn't. So I'm going to look at this from two point of views. The first point of view is this: one, if you're a hardcore and a rational boxing fan, I can understand your frustration with Broner. Mind you, this is not the first time he's missed weight. And this is actually the second time he's missed weight while his title was on the line. So the first time he lost the title on the scales was the super featherweight title. I think it was against Vicente Escobedo. I believe it was Escobedo Rodriguez. No, I think it was Escobedo. Yeah. It was against Escobedo. He missed weight for that fight, and he lost it on the scales. But some would say, well, it didn't really matter because Broner was planning to move up in weight anyway, which he did after that fight, whatnot. And then the second time he missed weight, it was against John Molina Jr. And the only difference is that it didn't really matter because there was no title on the line for that fight. So, however, some people do question whether Broner lacked the discipline or not when it comes to this sport of boxing, which he's benefited from financially. So, we'll get to that in a sec. But now this is actually the third time that he's missed weight, and the second time he's missed weight while his title was on the line. Now, again, some people would say the rational boxing fans or the hardcore boxing fans would be frustrated with Broner because some would question his discipline, his disciplinary attitude when it comes to this sport. You can understand Broner has been given so many damn chances, so many chances to clean his act up and get himself together. Okay, now from what I've heard behind the scenes, I've heard there's people in Broner's camp who's very frustrated with him because he just doesn't take direction very well. In fact, I even heard that at one point Al Heyman was so frustrated with him leading up to the Sean Porter fight, where Al Heyman had really, really just kind of threw Broner in against Sean Porter, where Broner immediately said, you know what, if you want me to take the fight against a guy like this, I want a catchweight and a rehydration clause. Now, from what I've heard, Heyman was willing to give him the rehydration clause until there's some other internal situations that was going on between Heyman and Broner, to where Heyman said, you know what, I'm going to strip the rehydration clause out of the contract. You could keep the catch weight with Porter, but you're definitely not getting a rehydration clause. So obviously, due to that, not Broner, Porter was able to rehydrate up to 162 or I think 161 pounds after the weigh-in. So the catch weight was 144. So he was supposed to rehydrate only up to 155 if the rehydration clause was kept in there. But anyhow, yes, from a fan's point of view, I can understand why you're frustrated with Broner, and you could be, it is. It's just disappointing, now that the fight is somewhat meaningless now that Broner can't win the title either way. So, not funny, but this is what it is. Now, from Adrien Broner point of view, you have to understand his frustration and he's distracted right now. Let's be honest here. We all know that the recent news had came out that he's facing an assault battery charge. Now, the incident took place in Cincinnati, which is his hometown, at a bowling alley where he got hustled by some other guy in a bowling game where he was gambling a lot of money. So the guy called it a night. Broner was pissed off. Broner waited for him in the alley. Then he started to beat him very severely. Then he actually went to his car, which I don't understand why he would do that. He would go to his car, later beat the individual, pistol whip him, and start to utter threats towards him. I believe that's what it was. I have to take a look at the story again. Now, shout out to Farache, one of my commenters. He actually has a boxing channel now called Strictly Boxing News. So I can suggest you guys take a look at it and subscribe to his content. Shout out to Farache and shout out to Rossclot 222. Now Ross Clark kind of implied that this could be possibly a publicity stunt to promote the title. Promote this fight between Broner and Theophane. Which could possibly be true because honestly, no one really cares about this fight. Let's be honest, no one really cares, and I didn't really care, and I didn't really focus on it or covered it because it just doesn't interest me at all. I'm just being real; it doesn't. But given the controversy surrounding this fight, leading up to this fight, some would say that the handlers behind this fight is stirring up the controversy, especially with this situation with Broner. Now, this is all conspiracy. Now, on to Farache's point when I made that video about Broner being charged with assault battery. He made a very interesting point that that you have to really think about. One is that this incident occurred in January. And we just now heard about it going into April. Why almost 3 months now that we're hearing about this incident? Why is Broner being charged all of a sudden? Two, this all came into light when Floyd Mayweather had made some, disparaging remarks towards Broner. That Broner retaliated by saying, you know what? Actually, the disparaging remarks were towards Broner on how he became a 4-division champion. I think this is only paraphrasing what Floyd had said. He said, look, you're a 4-division champion, aside from Paul Malignaggi, I don't know the other guys that you beat. That's what Floyd said. This is only paraphrasing. Then Broner responded by saying, well, you know what? Hey, I'm a 4-division champion, like it or not, paraphrasing. But at least I don't have a domestic violence issues. I don't beat women like you do. So when Broner made those comments, then this story comes about with assault and battery. Now, you could speculate, and you probably think this is a conspiracy, where all of a sudden when Broner utters Floyd's criminal record, criminal history when it came to women, this comes about. Now, some would speculate that Floyd Mayweather may have had a hand of this, of the assault battery charge with Broner come to light. Honestly, I don't believe it. Some would believe this is another indication of the Floyd Mayweather curse. Look, I don't believe it, but if you want to come to that assumption, go ahead. But if you want to put two and two together, think about it. When Broner goes after Floyd's personal issue, especially with the domestic violence with women, then the assault battery issue comes up. Now that Broner misses weight, Floyd's fighter, Ashley Fieldpay, can now win the title going in. He has a great chance of winning it now. So, yeah, very, very odd and murky situation here. Let me know what you think. Care to comment, share, subscribe. Sign it off. Peace.